DeMarcus Cousins, arguably the best, if not the best center in the NBA. Of course, we're not sure how well he's going to recover from the Achilles injury, but the fact is, the Golden State Warriors have upgraded their weakest position. And using the word upgrade is an understatement. They got freaking DeMarcus Cousins. So you might be wondering, how is this even possible? And why would Cousins want to go there, to a team that he hated before? How's it going, fellas? My name's Andy, and today I'm not gonna get into how Cousins will fit in with the Warriors. Instead, let's take a look at the logistics of this signing, like how and why it happened. To start things off, we gotta understand the Warriors' salary situation. First, we know they were already well over the cap, and when a team is over the cap, there are three main ways they can sign a new player. The first scenario is if the player has been on the team for at least 3 seasons, the team will have his bird rights, allowing them to go over the cap to sign him. For example, the Warriors will probably do that with Klay Thompson next year, although they'll have a massive luxury tax. The second scenario is minimum contracts. Teams over the cap can still sign players who are willing to take the minimum. An example of this was David West. And the third scenario is the mid-level exception, or the MLE. The value of the MLE varies from team to team, but every team has one every year. And this year, the Warriors used it to get DeMarcus Cousins. Now, the thing is, usually mid-level exceptions are used to get role players, not all-stars, because they're typically only worth a couple million. For example, the Miami Heat used it to get Shane Battier back in 2011, and he was a large part of their championship success. Even the Warriors themselves used the MLE a couple years ago to get Sean Livingston. Those are examples of the average player the MLE usually gets. So that's what makes this DeMarcus Cousins signing ridiculous. The Warriors essentially used something as small as the MLE to get arguably a top 10 player in the league. Signing him for just $5.3 million is absurd. To expand further on this, it also drastically helped because Kevin Durant took a $5 to $10 million pay cut, and he did this last year too. It might not seem like much, but his pay cuts greatly reduced the Warriors' luxury tax, so they were more willing to spend it elsewhere. If you compare this to, let's say the Rockets for example, Chris Paul got a 4-year $160 million max contract, squeezing as much money as possible from the team. This put the Rockets even deeper over the cap, so they would be hesitant to sign other players and therefore have a worse team. This is an interesting debate between getting the most money possible versus taking less money to give your team a better shot at the championship. Since Paul is the head of the NBA Players Association, I guess he's encouraged to take the max, but at the same time, this will always leave his team at a disadvantage. Basically, part of the reason signing Cousins was possible was because Durant was willing to take a pay cut to help his team get better. Not like they need to, but still. So the second main question is, why? According to the Pelicans beat writer Will Guillory, the Pelicans offered him a contract that was worth more than the Warriors, and he seemed to have a good relationship with Anthony Davis, one of his best friends. Well, I think he signed with the Warriors to prove a point. Even though it's been reported that other teams were offering more than the Warriors, it's never been reported that any team offered him the max, which Cousins believes that's how much he's worth. He might have gotten some offers here and there that were about, I don't know, in the 10 million range or so, but nothing that he liked. So instead, he probably thought, well, I could just take the $5 million for 1 year and win a free championship. Why not? It's better than taking a long-term, low-ball offer from other teams that clearly won't win the title next year. And since he's recovering from his Achilles injury, joining the Warriors could be kind of a rehab season too. He doesn't need to go all out and can slowly ease his way back into shape. I'm assuming that was his mindset. Also, he probably felt disrespected with all the low offers too, and not many teams have a ton of cap space this summer either. It's unlikely the Warriors could keep Cousins after 1 season because they don't have his bird rights. They can't go over the cap and sign him to a massive contract, nor do I think they will. We all know they don't need him to win. If anything, this season with Golden State would kinda be Cousins auditioning for a max contract with another team next year. With that being said though, their team is insane this season. Let's put this into perspective. Klay Thompson scored 60 points in 29 minutes, scored 37 points in one quarter, and by the end of his career, he could be considered as the second greatest shooter of all time. And yet, he's arguably the 5th best player on his own team. That's crazy to think about. Anyway, that sums up the video. Let me know your thoughts on the DeMarcus Cousins signing, and where do you think he'll go next season? I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.